Gary Harris, put it up and in.
Jazz for 23.
Watch Gary going strong into the Yang.
Right now, he needs to be aggressive to make sure that his presence is felt on the court, just like that. Oh, good move.
Murray, boy, still able to keep control of the basketball.
Oh, Murray, he's doing it all. The only thing he's doing, 8 for 10, 22 points, 4 for 5 from the three-point line.
Holy crap, we are on. What's up, everybody? Welcome in to the Winners Lounge. Yes! Guys, I'm hyped, I'm emotional, I'm so many things. This was...
I don't even recognize you.
I don't recognize myself. This is, sports, they give us the best and the worst of all things. They really do, and this is like, we get to sit here and just kind of pontificate on what was honestly, one of the greatest individual performances we've ever seen from a Denver Nugget.
Without question.
A heroic effort against, so many different, things going on. Nuggets back against the wall, and you get that performance from that player, and it's just... I can't imagine. This is going to be such a fun Winners Lounge. I can't wait. Keep that funky music going. We're still playing. We got Return of the Mat going to lead us in. Then we get the funky music. Guys, can it be a better start to this?
I'm going to be insufferable.
The first player since Allen Iverson in 2001 to drop 3 straight 40-plus games.
Before long, it's going to be the first player since Jamal Murray. He's playing at that kind of level that he is now becoming the baseline for historic performances. Before we get started, of course, guys, I'm Adam Mattes. I'm joined by Brendan Vogt in the flower shirt. Brought his A game.
I brought my A game. What did Jamal Murray bring?
His A++ game. Over here, D-Line Co.
Guys, I feel alive.
Oh, my God.
I feel alive.
I feel alive, too, but I also just feel like... I'm exhausted again. These Nuggets games are exhausting in the best possible way. They're exhilarated. They take so much out of you in this one.
I actually really appreciate the Nuggets sort of taking the super stressful down the stretch run away from us. So it was
it was still stressful.
It was stressful. I'm just saying,
have you ever held your breath over a 10-point lead like that?
I know. That's how you know. Honestly, the only way you don't feel stressed at the end is if you're up 20, and even then you're kind of whatever. But yeah, this. Guys, there's a lot to get into. Jamal Murray, we're going to talk an enormous amount about him, and rightfully so. What an incredible performance. He gets 50 points, guys, on 24 shots. 9 of 12 from the three-point line. His three-point shot has just, arrived. We get the return of Gary Harris. We get some crazy... I feel a little bit like the Nuggets are figuring some things out. We're going to talk about all of that. But we have to start, as I always do, by asking you what the biggest takeaway is from this game. Brendan, what is the biggest takeaway? And you can get a little hyperbole, I guess, if you want to here. What's the biggest takeaway from this incredible game?
So a couple games it was, all right, Jamal's a star. I was wrong. I sold him short. Is Jamal a superstar? We've knocked his consistency, and this is 3 straight games at the highest level with his back against the wall, scoring outputs that you haven't seen from anyone since AI. That includes Donovan Mitchell, who's on the other side of the court, just tearing it up. Who could have not have possibly played at a higher level all series until Jamal comes in and is arguably playing better.
Unbelievable. Honestly, you could argue at this very moment, in fact, I think you probably should, that he's been the best player in the series. And right now there's 2 best players in the series. They're going head-to-head, and it's incredible. But after tonight, it's not crazy to say that Jamal Murray has been the best player in the series.
Superstar good, and I'm not a basketball historian. I'm a young dude as it is, but for those of you who have been watching forever, you tell me, how many shooting duels have you seen like this? This is unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
B-Ball Breakdown called it the greatest playoff duel we've seen. I don't know if I'm ready to go that far, in part because it's the first round of the playoffs, but if you just look at numbers, if you just look at the tough shot making, people early in the series when Denver was taking the brunt of it was talking about how bad Denver's been defensively. which has been true in part. There's certain things we're going to talk about, but the shot making from key players in this series has been incredible on both sides.
It's been ridiculous.
It's been ridiculous, and I don't know how much of this is bubble. I don't know how much of it. I really don't know what's going on. But guys right now are hitting incredible shots, and none more than Jamal Murray. Biggest takeaway.
I don't know how the biggest takeaway could be anything other than the ascension of Jamal Murray. Like, I mean, I don't know.
There's another, but
Is it the ascension, or has he ascended?
That's the thing, is the ascension is still rising.
He's still ascending.
We don't know where it's going to stop. Like, he just keeps topping himself. Like, it's unbelievable.
It's truly unbelievable. I mean, these numbers are insane. 50 points is crazy when you take 35 shots. It's like, wow, what an efficient 50-point game. He did it on 24 shots. He had more than 2 points per shot. 2 points per shot for the entire game. And how many of those were like not easy? They were isolation. They were one-on-one. They were pressure-filled. That last three to give him 50, and actually the last 2 threes were both like, you gotta, Nuggets in a hole. You gotta dig them out. You gotta come up with something crazy, and he delivered on both of them. I mean,
God.
Honestly, so I saw Chad Andrews, friend of the show, watches a lot of basketball. He says, "Ladies and gentlemen, you just witnessed the greatest performance in Denver Nuggets history." I'm not, my almanac, my Denver Nuggets almanac does not go back far enough to say for sure. It's in the running to me of my lifetime. We're talking the last 25 years. I don't know that I have seen a better performance, especially when you put the weight of what was happening, what has happened in the series with Jamal specifically. For him to play up that one, I mean, I don't know what else I can say, guys.
Yo, I cannot believe we didn't get to be in person for that. Like, can you imagine what that would have been like?
It would have been Utah. Which would have made it anything.
Or the one before it, though, also.
There's a second takeaway, though, guys, and I'm sure you're on the same page with me. How about the return of Gary Harris tonight, who could not play a ton of minutes, did not have a lot to give offensively, but what a difference he made.
Maker.
If you were thinking Jordan Clarkson looked a little quiet tonight, a lot of that was Gary. If at times Mitchell looked a little quiet or lost the ball in transition, that was Gary. I mean, in the first quarter, down the stretch, he is such a better defender, perimeter defender, than anyone else on this team, including Craig. And when you have him out there, you can slide Craig over to guard a Mike Conley, which works much better. So, look, I mean, Gary Harris does not have to be 100% to put his fingerprints on this outcome.
Yep.
He already did in Game 6.
So Gary Harris tonight, he goes 1 for 4 from the field. He's a plus 16 in under 21 minutes. He's a plus 16.
That's unbelievable.
And it was a loud plus 16 because just like you said, look, Denver, I said this before, and Denver holds the Utah Jazz to 107 points tonight. And I say holds in air quotes because, look, it's hard to, in the playoffs right now, it's hard to stop anybody, let alone a team that had it going like they did.
Yeah, I was told that in the playoffs things slow down and people don't score as much.
Yeah, this bubble, man, I'm telling you, guys are just making everything. But to your point, Donovan Mitchell can still go off, and he had a great game tonight. What do you have, 40-something points tonight? 44. So it wasn't like he was a scrub tonight. But Denver's been giving that up, plus Jordan Clarkson, plus Mike Conley, plus Joey. They've been giving up a little everything because it's you overcommit to stopping one thing. There's nobody. Gary Harris tonight really was just an eraser. It was like, no, you guys don't have an and. You have Donovan Mitchell.
Yes.
And then you have a bunch of B- options. And if you try to go to Jordan Clarkson because you need that spark, not going to happen tonight. Gary Harris is on him. I mean,
it really is unbelievable. We were talking about the fact that you literally just throw one player into the mix, how differently the team looks even when he's not on the floor, because it allows you to stagger lineups in ways that is more beneficial and can be both defensive and offensive instead of just trying to get one or the other. And Gary Harris also, it's just like there's a calmness.
Yeah.
Like it's that thing we talked about, like the players just sort of looking in each other's eyes. You saw Jamal and Gary like connecting on the court, like that comfortability, like
when he had an impact right out of the gate. I mean, he was defensively. He had some plays right away that you go like, oh yeah, now we've got another guy we can kind of throw out there that can do some things.
And we were saying, I mean, it's funny, like you replace one player on the floor for your team, that's 20% of the players that you've changed out.
It's so ridiculous that people bury Denver in their defense. They're missing 2 starters. Like this was a total game where you're reminded, like, oh yeah, Denver is missing almost half of their starting lineup.
I've come to
realize, and people are just like,
rookie,
just threw that away as if it didn't matter anything.
It is. I mean, it's crazy now to how the 20,000 view look at this series. I mean, we're not out of it yet, but just like we had 2 games where the Nuggets just like did not want to be there. Like, they just got hit with bubble malaise. I really believe
if you really want to get optimistic, you can say Denver goes 3-0 against Utah in the regular season, including one in the bubble.
Yep.
They now are 3-3 against them in the playoffs, where 2 of those games we all sort of agree were a lack of adjustment, some lineups that weren't working, and then the Nuggets just not playing hard. I mean, we've said all along, these two teams are very even, and Denver has sort of outplayed them down the stretch in the close games this season. It's really started to bear out. One other place I would go with this, and not to bring it down a little bit, but Paul Millsap in this series really struggling. I mean, he gets 19 minutes tonight, which is about what he's been playing, and those are all coming in a row. The first 7 or 8 minutes of the game tonight, first 6-7 minutes of the second half, and those minutes were really rough. Do you guys, I mean, it's hard to make an adjustment going into Game 7, but I think if you look on the dark side, you say, okay, he's going to be a guy that's going to play 19, 20 minutes a night in Game 7, and those minutes, Denver's been getting murdered. You feel very uncomfortable. Positive side is Denver now for 6 straight quarters has absolutely murdered the Utah Jazz when they've been able to play what I would consider to be a regular lineup. 1 center, 1 stretch big, and 3 guards, which is what the entire NBA plays now. And when they do that, they completely destroy Utah.
You said tonight, which was crazy to hear out loud, if the Nuggets can just survive their starters' minutes.
Their starters' minutes, yeah.
But usually when we talk about Paul Millsap, we also end up talking about Jeremy Grant. And we have to tonight because he was spectacular. 4 of 7
he hit
from
some
deep,
big
hit some
shots.
big shots, had a big block, had just had some plays that, like,
Look at this.
We're not used to, that you expect
Jamal
from
Murray,
a player
wow.
of his athleticism and length. So I thought Grant was awesome tonight. Also want to shoehorn this in really quick. A lot of comments about Jamal Murray's apparently awesome post-game interview. We did not get to see it, so we won't talk about that.
We're looking at video of him walking up the ramp right now, getting really emotional.
None of us have had a chance to check this out, and I see the comments talking about it. I mean, so I couldn't be more impressed with Jamal Murray, really dating back to when he returned from injury. You know, it kind of coincided with the Nuggets struggling, but he was incredible. You go on this hiatus, you come back, and remember, I was really impressed with him, and this is a weird thing to say, but I was really impressed with his first media availability. This was coming right after George Floyd, right after that whole part, and he has a meeting with the media. And look, Jamal Murray, in my opinion, I'm not trying to rag on the worst qualities of this guy, right after his highest moment, but he's been growing up before our eyes. What I mean by that is when he arrived, he was really a kid, and I'm not saying that derogatory. He's a 19-year-old,
right? Literally,
and we saw every year a little bit of maturity. And when we came back from the hiatus, and just the conversation he wanted to have with the Denver media, and the way I just was so impressed. I was like, oh wow, this looks like a maturing young man, and sounds like a maturing young man. I was so impressed with it. He's come into this bubble now, played incredible in the seeding round, played incredible now in the playoffs, and I'm guessing with the message and everything, I couldn't be more impressed with him. I mean, I talked about having, with him, he's had to earn it the hard way with me. I haven't just thrown him some of these accolades. I don't know what else I can say about him right now. I can't be more impressed with him.
Since pressing the wrong button a few months ago, he's pressed only the right buttons.
Only the right ones, man.
That's a really good joke. Some of you will get it.
And it's funny. Oh Jesus, that was really good.
Yeah.
That took me a second.
Yeah.
Well, you're right, man. That really brought it down, though. But at the same time, man, I'm telling you, he's 23 years old. It's just wild to think we're going now into this perspective of, oh yeah, this guy is like the age of, he's so young. His best years are still years in advance.
You know what he looks like? He looks like a max player, baby.
He does look like a max. Are you kidding? A max? How many?
And his deal doesn't kick in until next year.
Yeah, let's talk about that Jamal contract. Let's hash that over again.
Unbelievable. Well, here's an interesting one. How many guards in the Western Conference could have had the playoffs that he's had? The game 1, the game 4, the game 5, and the game 6 that Jamal Murray's had. How many do you feel confident saying? I think Damian Lillard. I think Steph Curry.
Donovan Mitchell.
I think Donovan Mitchell because he kind of has.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more in here. I mean, Chris Paul, we've seen him dominate series, although I don't know we've seen him dominate with the scoring like this.
Though,
I mean, this scoring is absurd. Jamal Murray is just – there's not that many players that can get to this high. We've said for a while Jamal Murray's highs are so high, but he's just like this. In this series, that has not really been the case.
I feel so arrogant about my Jamal Murray takes.
Oh, I'm gonna be so cocky about this Nuggets team should they win one more game in this series because they were buried.
I'm gonna celebrate like I was right about the 5-game.
I can't wait. They were buried, but I'm being serious.
No, for sure.
You win this series. Everybody talks about how Jokic being exposed in the playoff series. You can't build around him. Rudy Gobert's Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Came in 3rd. Nuggets torching them. I mean, the narrative reversal that we are one game away from having is going to be.
I want to say really quick before I forget, I was like half joking about the contract bit, but let's give Tim Connolly and co some credit. Jamal Murray gets all the credit for filling these shoes. But when you're a team like Denver, what are your chances of signing or drafting a more talented player than Murray? Yeah. Slim to none. Yeah. And you look at what Gordon Hayward did with Utah. I mean, Jamal Murray's going to remember that they paid him before he grew into these shoes, hopefully.
Yeah, maybe.
So credit to a front office that for now looks like they were right to pay the kid.
Oh yeah, you put the pennants up. Look at that. We do have some new
Yeah,
flair
little
here.
mini
Yeah,
pennants. I
little
put
mini
mini pennants
pennants.
up.
I do like it.
I was waiting for some natural comments to come up, but nobody said anything, so I asked the question.
So Jokic in this game, it's interesting. You look at his stat line. He has 22 points, 9 assists. Oh, by the way, you're welcome, everybody, for DraftKings pick of the lock of the week. I gave it yesterday on the show. I said Jokic is going to have more than 7.5 assists. Everybody, let me know in the comments if you took my advice. You listened to yesterday's. Nobody did, huh? Nobody did. Somebody actually tweeted at me and said, hey, I just went off of that. So one person did. But Jokic's game tonight, it's interesting because we're not used to this version of Jokic where his primary role in the last 2 games has been to drag Rudy Gobert away from the paint.
Right.
And often not as an on-ball player, like not involved in the action. And late in this game, Utah panicked a little bit. They stuck other players. They put Rudy Gobert on somebody else, and they stuck somebody else on Jokic. Then you go to that 2-man game, and it works. But to me, this is one of the reasons I think you have confidence, a little bit, as much confidence as you can going into a Game 7, is Utah's kind of breaking a little bit in terms of they're defensively. They're saying, well, shoot, we can't. Now we have to put Gobert on some other like Torrey Craig or something.
I'm saying, like, if you look at this, the way that this entire thing is going, like, again, Nuggets come out, they win a very hard-fought game, very even in Game 1.
Utah learned something in Game 1.
Yes. Game 2 and 3 were so ridiculous. Like, I don't even know what those games were. I mean, like,
Denver didn't adjust. Blamed Game 2 on effort, which was partially true, but not wholly true. And you get back-to-back ass whoopings.
But I don't even feel like, I mean, in those games, we were like, wow, this literally feels like a betrayal. The Nuggets have completely given up. They're not trying at all.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what you can glean from those 2 losses.
I don't know that you can,
it showed that the Nuggets were weak in character for some period.
Yeah.
But then they respond, which shows that they have strong character. So every rest of the game, like all the rest of the games, have been very close, the exact same way they played out over the season. And I just couldn't be more confident.
I mean, Utah's playing differently. They were playing flawlessly because they were never under pressure. Like, now you see some possessions like, well, why did Royce O'Neal just shoot that? You know, or what happened to just targeting MPJ or Jokic every possession, which I guess they did in the first half, but it kind of feels like they've gone away from some of that stuff. What happened to the Ingles-Gobert pick and roll? I mean, it just sort of seems like the more Denver has put the ball back in Utah's court and the more Utah's thought about this as opposed to just playing, we're seeing some cracks in that armor.
Well, another way to put this, and we can take a break if you want to load up your things. Another way to look at this, Denver actually outscores Utah by 18 points after the first quarter. They give up 36 points. We talk about that starting lineup. There's some weird things going on there, and I really think it's going to be a big factor in Game 7. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But once you go away from that, the Nuggets hold the Jazz to 20 points in the second, 23 in the third, 28. If you're Utah and you've been scoring 30 points a quarter for 5.5 games, and all of a sudden now, in 5 of your last 6 quarters now, you've been held below that. In fact, 20 points, 23. So now you have 4 quarters now where you've scored 23 or less.
I mean,
you have to start questioning yourself at least a little bit.
How much does that time coincide with when Gary Harris took the floor?
Well, that was three of the 5 that we're talking about of those quarters were with Gary Harris. Although I don't know how much he played in each of them.
Like,
in this one, yeah.
In this game, like everything.
Well, yeah, he did. I don't know if Gary Harris, he didn't play very much in the first quarter. So actually, maybe all of them.
That's what I'm saying. Like I bet there's like a very direct correlation.
Yeah. All right. Well, can we hit our first break? Send in our comments. I want to read our comments here, and we'll hit a first break. Hopefully, Harrison Wynn, who's right now speaking to Jamal Murray himself, speaking to Michael Malone. We're gonna hear what his takeaways are. But first,
we're gonna get an emotionally
We're talking Denver Nuggets. We're talking Denver sports. Well, what are we missing? That's right, Breckenridge Brewery, the official beer
I did have a
of
mango
DNVR
mosaic tonight and a vanilla porter junior.
Turns
out it did not work.
Go ahead and look for that Ava Nuggets ale. Whoa. It's Nuggets season, baby. We're over the Avalanche. But no, you can check out the Avalanche ale. Use the Breck Beer Locator, or just come to the bar. We've got all the good stuff. Breck Brew.
Bar was lit tonight, fellas.
Look, they're Denver. They're
lit.
Colorado. And so they're DNVR. We're proud to rep Breck Brew. We also have to talk about WGT Golf, the most popular mobile golf game in the world, and also the official partner of DNVR Gaming.
I turned in a really shameful round.
I lost to you, so I guess I was even more shameful.
Wow. Which event is this, Eric?
That would be the
Fantasy Open.
Fantasy Open. Look, just about every weekend we throw a DNVR event on. WGT. We have 3 clubhouses now. So many members signing up. DNVR, DNVR 2, DNVR 3. Search for that last one if you haven't signed up yet. That's where you'll find our tournaments. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. So download WGT And we'll see you out there on the virtual course.
Oh, nice tie.
Is that all of it?
That's
all
it.
good? All right, just spinning out a fire tweet.
Love you
I'm
too, Jane
placing
Bolt.
my live bet for.
Oh,
DraftKings.
that's all right. Are you placing a live bet? What is
Live
it going
bet.
on? So we can.
I'm going to bet that
there's nothing going on
the
right now.
Vancouver Canucks are the next team to score.
The Canucks?
Yeah, that's right.
Hockey's still going on, huh? Hockey has some crazy hours, man. Really crazy hours.
They're on the West Coast, baby.
You know who was? Let's talk about unsung heroes tonight, because when I thought there was actually a lot of them. We talked a little bit about Jeremy Grant. I think he was an unsung hero. I thought Mason Plumlee gave the Nuggets a very solid 11 and a half minutes tonight. I know that sounds weird to say,
true.
but he had a solid 11 and a half.
Was I picking up on legitimate MPJ Mason Plumlee synergy?
You might have. You might have just been seeing that thing. You might have been squinting really hard.
Dude, they were looking for each other. I saw some dynamic passing happening between the two, like a give and go.
Well, if you want a crazy statistic here, and I'm going to have to go back to rewatch this. Michael Porter tonight, not great. 1 of 7.
I was gonna say,
Hold on. 2 points. 2 points. 1 of 7. 12 rebounds.
hey,
A team high plus 21.
hey.
So I don't know, man. That's a Jokic stat line right there, right? Where you're like, oh, he had a horrible game. He was a team best plus 21 in his limited minutes.
I do have to say that the synergy that my keen senses have picked up on netted 2 points between the two of them.
Well, there you go. Exactly. But you know what? Sometimes look, we're in the playoffs right now.
Yeah.
You need your stars to step up. Jokic tonight, 22 points. Jamal Murray stepped up double, 50 points. And then you need your role players to do some great things. And Jeremy Grant delivered. Torrey Craig, I thought, even delivered. He's another guy tonight that I thought had some very positive.
Oh, for sure.
He had
block.
he had some classic Torrey Craig minutes, but he had a lot of really, really good ones. So the guys, 2 players I kind of want to mention tonight because I think it's interesting, especially with regards to Game 7. Monte Morris, not great tonight. He did have 10 points, 3 assists, no turnovers, 4 of 6. But I didn't think he was very good today. I didn't think he was very effective, especially on the defensive end.
Maybe yeah.
PJ Dozier doesn't get in the game, and he played incredible in Game 5. I think he was a large reason why he didn't play.
I bet your take on Monte is colored by your desire for composure.
I don't know. I'm honestly, I want the Nuggets to win, and they won. So tonight it worked. But it's just a thing I'm thinking about here. Like
Monte, it's like he can be in the right place, and he's just still a little too small.
Yeah, yeah.
Were you surprised that we didn't see any PJ Dozier tonight?
I was very surprised by that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course he was part of the Lawn Boys, the closing game.
I talked about it in the list.
Right.
I did.
Who
Yeah.
did you expect to get bumped?
Torrey Craig. And Torrey Craig played very nicely tonight, so I don't know.
I can't say it was necessarily the wrong call, but it's just funny. There was a lot of stuff that went right in Game 5 from a process standpoint.
Yeah.
Where you go, oh, maybe the Nuggets are back into this. They win Game 6, but they kind of almost abandoned that process that got them Game 5. So I was, I guess, curious about that.
Jamal Murray playing at this level, man, it's just like it changes the entire Nuggets trajectory. I mean, we talked about Michael Porter and the upside that he has, this or that, but I mean, you're just adding Michael Porter to the list. You're starting to fill in the gaps. But if this is Jamal Murray,
this is the thing: is that it's not changing the trajectory; it's just going on the trajectory we've been screaming about.
We're back, baby. We're back on track.
These are the steps. Like, we don't skip steps; we are just walking up them. Like, that's the whole idea. Is like you still keep rising. You just don't try to take shortcuts to get there. And the Nuggets are doing exactly that. I mean, they're following the recipe to a T. If they just keep loading up the back end, they have players that are developing in the right way. They're finding chemistry. I don't know what else you could ask for.
And at a certain point, teams are going to have to think about the way that they guard this team, more specifically Jamal Murray. And he's had a lot
One of the things I'm so curious about for Game 7.
Yep.
I'm so curious.
And what does that do for Jokic and company? I mean, it always has seemed to me like Murray gets these spurts sort of in spite or despite of whatever is happening around him. But he's taking these pull-up threes. He's taking the necessary shots and making them to the point where you go, like those elite guards, is he bending the defense now? Because if you're Utah,
no doubt about it.
You got to make someone else beat you in Game 7. You have to.
Yes, absolutely. It's Smith. Apparently, we missed video of Mitchell and Gobert breaking everything as they left the court.
Breaking things?
Yeah.
Send us that video, please.
I know.
Can we find that producer team? If you find Gobert and Mitchell, you already have. Can we look at it?
Yeah, we need this.
I also
can you? Well, did you pull it up? Do we?
I'll stall.
Oh yeah, pull it up so I can see it on the monitor here. I want to see these guys melting down.
I know. What the age?
I regret to inform you guys that the Jazz fan disliker has found this video.
Oh hell yeah!
Nuggets
just like
fans,
it
get
again.
in there and just like it again.
Just like it up. Give us a like.
Please.
Give us a subscribe too, guys. It's the last day of the month. Or it's tomorrow, and I was trying to get. I have a record. I'm like 500 subscribers off. I had a lofty goal.
I
tell all your friends to like it. Great second accounts. Like it.
I blocked my first person today on Twitter.
Oh, wow.
Was it me?
Was it a Jazz fan?
I don't know who it was. They were just
really?
being a jerk to me. I blocked my first person. It felt
Yeah, go to it. Man.
fairly
We're
empowering.
waiting for it. We're filling time here, buddy. That's all right. Let's see. Oh, they're upset. They're throwing the chairs. They're a little pissed. That was mild. I'll be honest. That was mild. I expected a little bit more.
Hold on.
That's a mild one. What?
Did he just not go for a Peloton?
That's an expensive buy. Oh, Harrison will be pissed.
Don't let Harrison
Oh,
see this.
don't let Harrison
Oh.
see this. He's going to be so
no.
furious. That was mild. I don't know. Like, that's, regular frustration. I'd love to sit here and rag on the Jazz. You guys know I would love to rag on. I love Donovan Mitchell. I don't really care for Gobert. I'm not into Gobert.
I don't feel like anybody
What's
else
up?
is calling him the stifle.
No.
flower.
You can get it. I mean, we can't hear the audio, so.
Nobody calls and one only to not get fouled or make the shot more than Rudy Gobert. It's just
Screw
driving
Rudy
me nuts.
Gobert. Screw
Let's
Rudy
play.
Gobert.
Gosh, I'll wait for it. I'll wait for it when Harrison Wynn gets back. Hopefully, pretty quick. But another thing that happened in this game, and I don't want to overstate it, guys. Michael Porter's improvement on defense in this has appeared to be steep. Now, is he a good defender? No, he still gets beat. Although I do think his length makes up for some of that stuff.
Yeah, he's
but
more just in the wrong
starting to
place
try
all
to
the time.
read the core. I just think there's no experience like teacher. Or there's no teacher like experience. There you go. There's no teacher like experience, and he's getting there's nowhere to hide for Michael Porter. There's no way for
Kinda
Michael
creepy
Porter to
for
watch
the
the film,
Nuggets.
go out there and be like, it's not my fault. No, it's like, yeah, I'm getting. They're targeting me.
Oh, yeah,
They're
Ray Vaughn.
literally
He's like,
calling
oh, yeah, I
me
see
out.
what you're saying there, coach.
And I think that what you're seeing in him is this light bulb going on of just how dialed in you have to be, how much he has to grow. Because I'm sure when you play pickup with Michael Porter, he still kicks everyone's ass. Because pickup, there's no defensive identity, there's no help and rotations. It's just pickup, and he's so talented. He's realizing how much of actual NBA basketball is the other parts of it. They're like,
dude,
coverages matter.
That's like all of these you hear about the Rucker Park legends that then are
Oh yeah, they're like, I could have been in the NBA out
Yeah.
here. They came out here.
yeah
They light up Danny Green in the summer, and they're like, I don't get it. I'm better than Danny Green. You're like, well.
Yeah, it turns out team basketball much more complicated than just going and knocking her down.
Joe Ingles, Royce O'Neal, all struggled. I mean, the Clarkson, the minus 24 really sticks out. Like a sore thumb.
Look,
if you look at the minuses on that end of the court, Niang and Clarkson. I mean, again, this is the Gary effect. We're talking about the bench units, which Utah has had bad bench units all season until they played Denver, and then they had this incredible one. You get back an ace defender there.
What Clark's up must Clark down. There's only a matter of time before Jordan Clarkson stopped Jordan Clarkson. But I will give credit to Gary Harris this time around.
give a lot of
Nothing makes
credit.
me feel better when
Get over here, Harrison, he's
mediocre
coming.
players play mediocre. Like when Jordan Clarkson plays really, really well, it makes me angry.
That sucks,
But when he
doesn't
plays
it?
in a mediocre fashion, it makes you feel good.
Yeah, God, I like this Jordan
Yeah, I'm
Clarkson
like,
guy.
I understand the world again. Like that's how Jordan Clarkson plays.
Check out the Peloton Prince here, the man with the wind in his hair. Pull your
See how he does
microphone
with
in.
the microphone for
Let's
him here.
see.
Oh,
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
I'll take that.
All right.
Yeah, sounding good.
A little closer. Oh, producers
Yeah,
are
So,
thrilled.
how's that?
Harrison,
Give it a
Better?
7 out of 10.
We've had
Better?
some good.
I think that's good.
We've had some good post games. We've had some bad post games, and we've had some emotional ones. I'm guessing this one was of the emotional nature. What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, very emotional. I don't know. Did you guys catch his
We haven't caught anything.
on-court interview?
No,
Jamal Murray, man, just how he has handled himself on and off the court as a 23-year-old in these circumstances is unbelievable.
yeah.
And we know he's wearing the George Floyd and Breonna Taylor shoes. He's worn those the last couple games. He was asked about them, of course. Jamal Murray was holding back tears in his post-game interview. He was hunched over, bent over, holding back tears, just trying to get the words out. And he was pretty much saying how he and the NBA have found something that's worth fighting for, and those shoes help him fight. Those shoes give him life. They help me find the strength to keep fighting. So, he was saying this, like I'm saying, holding back tears.
Wow.
It was pretty incredible. And at 23 years old, just to handle himself the way he has, it's
So impressive.
It's very impressive.
And we talk about the platform, and I don't want to put this on the players, say you have to come out and score 50 or whatever, but I do love that, first of all, you get to score 50 points like this, and here we are, everybody's talking about it, and you get that, and for him to be able, I mean, it's clear, you're looking at this video, it's so clear how much this is weighing on the players. This is why I don't like when people question it. Sometimes you see the eggs right? The Twitter eggs, the faceless, nameless people that go on there like, oh, it's all performative, this or that. I just don't know. Like, these guys are carrying an enormous amount of weight because of the moment and because of this feeling. They've talked about this feeling of knowing, are we doing the right thing by playing? And I think that when you see a guy be able to manage those emotions, have the message get out that he wants to get out, but also have a 50-point game on top of it. I mean, that's just Jamal Murray. I don't think anybody can ever question just how mentally strong that guy is, mentally and even emotionally.
Yeah, it's I don't know. This is a lot of like why we were saying that this championship will actually probably mean more and be more difficult than any championship that's come before it.
Been saying it.
You don't have you don't have the travel. You don't go into the opposing fan's house and have to deal with the people screaming in your ear. But there's like a psychological element to this of not only being like sort of cordoned away from your family and your loved ones. Like you heard about Mason Plumlee getting on the elevator the other day with Jaylen Brown and having to give himself all of these positive affirmations about how I love basketball. Like there's a mental grind here, which, and obviously the thing is like these guys are going to be fine. Like they're not actually in a bad situation. It just feels heavy, and it's like another obstacle you have to get through that typically you aren't presented with. So,
well, you can tell in like really everybody's post-game interview, even after guys have huge games, nobody's happy, right? Because I'm putting myself in their shoes. Like they're out on the court, they're free, and then they have to just go back to their hotel rooms.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Totally.
Like you can just see that weighing on guys, even when they play unbelievable.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's going to be so interesting to see who can like weather that storm.
Yeah.
And I don't want to strike this note too often, but we talked and Votes getting a baptism into, Nug life, what the Nuggets experience.
This is not Nug life.
No, but it is. The good and the bad. In this one way, we've watched Jamal Murray grow up before our eyes, and there's just something so cool about that. And I think that's, especially in the NBA's being lost in sports more as the year goes on. Like, very few teams get to experience what Denver is getting to of the, these are our guys. We saw them when they were teenagers. We saw them go through all of these little benchmarks, and now we're here at this point where we're seeing a almost fully formed version of Jokic, of Murray. We're seeing the very first stages of Michael Porter, and it's just it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's so rewarding, and to me, this is what it is to be a Nuggets fan, especially at this era. It's like we're not just getting trade now. Let's trade Murray for Giannis. Let's go get Giannis.
Imagine spending the last 5 years telling everybody that Jokic sucks. The Nuggets aren't worth your time.
Oh, those
they're
people,
a loser franchise. Not getting to see
those people are still around and waiting, just praying, and they live here in this city, and they're just praying the Nuggets lose so that they can play the note again. That's the only note they have. Let's take a break. I want to hear more about what Michael Malone had to say, what Nikola Jokic had to say. Do you have your ad reads ready to go there, Harrison?
I do not.
Well, I guess we're going to have to go to the reserve here.
Oh, look at this.
When we come back, I do want to hear from Jokic. I want to hear from Michael Malone. I want to hear what those guys had to say. And then let's look ahead to the best two words in sports.
Game 7, baby.
Game 7.
Game freaking 7. It's only right? Murray and Mitchell going back and forth. This has to end in a Game 7.
It has to.
Got to talk about Harrison's favorite Green Mountain Dental Group. Ooh. Green Mountain Dental Group is located in Lakewood. They're the best damn family-owned dentist in the metro. They're also extreme Colorado sports fans, just like all of us. Sure they were watching. Sure they're celebrating this big win. We've told you guys this before. Some of us have been in there. Our sales director, Lindsay, was in there, had her wisdom teeth removed. She said it was literally the best dentist experience of her life. You schedule a cleaning, x-ray, and exam. You'll also receive a free Sonicare toothbrush. And look, no one likes talking with their dentist. It's the worst. It's mostly because you can't do it.
No one likes talking with you.
And they insist on it. But hey, these folks talk about Denver sports, so that's a dub. Check out Green Mountain Dental Group and schedule that clean and get that free Sonicare
You won the
toothbrush.
Canucks bet, Eric.
That's
I'm telling you, every
Edmund.
time the Nuggets win, Eric wins his bet. Every time they lose, he loses his bet. It's incredible.
And we're going to talk about Strava Craft Coffee. Tell you guys a quick sad story. Walked into the bar tonight, wanted only one thing. It was sold out because everyone else wanted it.
You wanted a Nuggets win above all.
I wanted the Strava Craft Cold Brew, the CBD infused coffee that just changes lives, in my opinion. So Strava CBD infused coffee, you can have a schedule service. You can schedule a service to have this coffee delivered to you. I got it.
Wow,
every
you're really getting through it.
4, 6, or 8 weeks. I can be in K-cups, whole beans or ground.
This is a disaster.
Or you can just come to our bar and get the cold brew version. And I'm melting and I'm getting sweaty. So that's it. Check out Strava Craft Coffee. I love it.
All right, so let us know. What did Michael Malone have to say?
Michael Malone, he coached LeBron for 5 years. I don't know if you guys knew that, but he coached.
He has mentioned it before.
He coached Steph. He coached Clay. He coached CP3. Murray going
You're hyperbolic.
50, 42, 50, right, in these last 3.
Yes.
Malone said he's never seen anything like what Jamal Murray's done over these last 3 games. I don't know if I have.
Yo, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. Like those numbers. I mean, remember how desperately Jamal Murray wanted to get 50, that he would defy mighty what's his name? Kyrie Irving and shoot in his eye.
Yeah,
like
the
he wanted it so
gods.
bad. And like now he
Screw
just
him.
is like just scoring 50, in back-to-back games in the playoffs. It's like whatever. We've just moved on to the next thing.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Malone also shouts out Gary Harris, Mason Plumlee, Jeremy Grant, because it's probably going to be lost in this game, but those 3 guys were huge.
Yeah.
Plumlee's energy, Jeremy Grant shooting, like, oh my God. And Gary Harris's defense, what was Jordan Clarkson today?
No, he wasn't good. Minus
Bad.
24, I think. He was
5 for 14.
Look at that minus.
6
You know what he
from 3,
was today?
minus 24.
minus 24 sticks out.
You know
like
what he was today? He was Jordan Clarkson.
And Gary Harris
Nature
was
is
a
healing.
plus 16 off the
Nature
bench in
is
21
healing.
minutes.
I tweeted this out tonight. I mean, well, there's some debate now about who the best player is, but Jamal's the alpha. Yoke appears to be the franchise player, but Gary Harris is Mr. Nugget, man. Longest tenured player. In my opinion,
Mr. Nugget.
when I talk to fans,
definitely
I
Mr.
think this
Nugget.
is the guy. This is anecdotal, of
Gary
course. They most want to see
Harris.
succeed.
Oh,
you
yeah.
talk about emotional boost for not just the team, but also the fan base. The brightest timeline.
He was there for the 7, and he did not. Remember, he had the 0 for 16 or whatever
Yeah.
game. Doesn't matter, because, again, he contributed the part that he has sort
Yes.
of grown
Well,
into.
And I just think the brightest timeline here, if Denver gets this all done, it's with Gary there. It's with
Yeah.
Gary contributing.
Should we talk about it, though? Is it time? His hair. What do we think?
Oh, I'm with it. Are you
Keep it
kidding me?
now.
I
I'm
love
with
it.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Love
great.
it.
It's
Love
great.
it. Okay.
It's great.
I'm a
Summer
little iffy.
Gary.
I'm a little iffy, but we got.
No, you know why
3
you're iffy, though? Because Gary Harris doesn't have a ton of personality that he shares with us. We
Okay.
don't really get a
All
lot
right.
of it. So when you can express it through something, you know what I mean? It's like, all right. It's
I
the
like to-
quiet. He's the quiet, straight-laced dude,
Yeah.
but his hair's a little wacky.
I like to express mine through song, as you know.
Oh, I do. We do know that. Yeah.
It is great, though, that Gary is here for this run and for this team climbing and ascending up the Western Conference, because he was here for Brian Shaw. He was here for the dark
Yeah.
days.
Yes.
He's
Yeah.
been here through this whole rebuild, and I'm with you, Vote. I think he is Mr. Nugget for sure. So I think it probably means a lot to him just to still be here. You know,
Yeah.
and there was a timeline that almost happened where he was traded.
Yeah,
Right.
for
We all know
several
that.
times. Several
Several
times.
times.
I mean, a week ago we thought we'd.
Yeah, I
maybe
know.
see his
I
last
feel
game.
like this is a continual timeline that he's like always sort of like on that in that discussion. But who's going to trade Mr. Nugget? Who? Who among us?
Nikola Jokic after the game.
I don't have much from Nikola. The post-game interviews have taken forever, so I want to get on the show.
Get out here.
I wanted you on the show.
Like TikTok.
So
Jamal?
I want to play. We're not going to be able to hear this, but I know a lot of fans have wanted to hear Jamal Murray's comments in their entirety. We have those queued up, so we're not going to get to hear it. But go ahead and play that for everybody that's watching or
Let
listening.
us know how inspirational they are. in
They
the
each
comments.
scored 50 in the same game. Back to the drawing board.
we doing the highlights
I
here?
think
Oh,
of Jamal
it's a good one though. I won't
17
lie, that
for
is a great
24.
We
one.
think Mitchell is
9 for 12 threes. Are you kidding me? No defense could have
by all
stopped the way
means,
he
get
was
this
shooting
footage on
spacing
the
the
show.
floor tonight. That's just
Oh
a
my
grown
God.
man game. And you
we
can
need a
tell by
minute
the
there,
names
guy?
he's put himself up with.
You need 3
man,
minutes.
2 50-point
Oh, okay.
games
He's got to
in
ease
this
this some
series.
time. All right, let's talk about
Check out his
Game
last
7
three
though, guys,
quarters,
because now.
21, 16, and 21.
No, we're
Those
ready
are
to go.
quarters. In the
Oh, this
fourth,
is the
Jared
video?
Greenberg. You got a
Oh.
star
I
on
thought
your
it was
hands.
Hey,
Oh,
guys,
there was
let's
just like a
hear the
dude.
audio.
Jamal
Let's hear the
Murray,
audio.
your coach told us before the game that this week has been an emotional roller coaster. How did you carry over momentum from an explosive Game 4, Game 5, and then put everything else aside that happened this week and go out and drop 50 in a must-win game tonight?
You gotta will to win. These shoes mean a lot. With all the shoes mean a lot.
Take a deep breath, Jamal. You were outstanding tonight. We understand that these are tough times. Jamal, what are you thinking about right now?
I just want to win. And in life, you find things that hold value to you, and things to fight for. And we found something worth fighting for as an NBA, as a collective unit. And I usually choose as a symbol to me to keep fighting all around the world. So like I said, they give me a lot of power to keep fighting, and we want to win. I show my emotion, it comes out, so.
You have a picture of George Floyd on your right shoe here. You got Breonna Taylor. Why has this been so personal for you, Jamal?
Because it's not just in America, it happens everywhere. And for us to come together at NBA, and it doesn't take one meeting, it takes a couple meetings, a few meetings, it takes phone calls, it takes persistence. It's not gonna take one night, and we've been trying to fight for 400 years. But these shoes give me life. Even though these people are gone, they give me life, they help me find strength to keep fighting this world. That's what I'm keep doing.
You're a special person, Jamal Murray, on and off the court. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for all you did. There's a lot of people, BA and C-Web, that are proud of Jamal Murray all around North America tonight.
Yeah, that was something else. I mean, he pulled it together, and on a night when he could just talk about all.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Could not be a bigger fan of this young man at the moment.
So impressive.
Yeah.
Having his moment, man.
And look, I mean, also a sobering reminder, the importance of him reminding us after a win, after a feel-good moment. And not just, well, of course, there's the strike there are in games, or not just the Nuggets just lost, or it's a practice question that a player deflects. Murray is finishing the best stretch of his career right now, the biggest moments of his career. And that's where his mind went. And it's just a reminder for me that that's where the mind of so many of these players are. Win or lose, 50 burger or 0 points. And so a sobering reminder of just how much these guys are shouldering. And we have to remind ourselves of that as we evaluate them, I think.
And I don't think once in that interview, I don't even know if he did this in the longer post-game Zoom, but he never talked about himself in the sense of what he just did on the court.
Yeah.
And I think I said that after the last game. He always is quick to kind of shout out other people and not take as much credit as he should. Did it again tonight.
Guy, do we have Jamal Murray's highlight package ready to go? Yep. Let's relive this, man.
I'm so ready.
Let's walk down all 50 points here, man. I can't wait for this one.
They each scored 50 in the same game.
So glad they got a win in the Blues.
First two opponents.
What do you wear for Game 7?
Blues.
You wear the Blues?
Keep it rolling, baby.
Well, they won with the Blacks too.
His hip in the second practice.
Whatever Jamal Murray wants to wear.
Oh, I love that one. I love that one. Jokic, 9 assists. Told you.
And now the shot clock at 6. Into the hands of Murray. Gets a screen.
If Jamal Murray's hitting those like consistently next year, all-star. All-star. You need playoff performances to boost you like this. Jamal Murray, man, he's on the radar now. Knock down those types of three-pointers. You're in the All-Star game. Man, Jamal Murray, so fun to watch too. I'm getting texts from that's
how
aesthetically
clean
man.
is that step?
It's so we're getting texts from a lot of people today that don't always text you about
Yeah.
As much as we love Jokic and love watching the Jokic highlight, not everybody does, man, but they love the Murray ones. His touch underrated, man. His touch around this is gonna take 20 minutes to get through this.
I just love that his name is Jamal Murray. His name is, and he's just like Steph Curry.
This is the Utah
Curry and Murray. Like, are you kidding?
This is the Utah Jazz that he's driving into the teeth of the defense over and over, just willing.
Making great reads too.
Royce O'Neal overrated.
Is he even rated?
Well, yeah, he was rated very high after the first 3 games of the series. A murderer.
It's funny how your view of everything changes just all the time. Like earlier in the second and third games of this series, I was like, man, the Jazz are loaded. Look at all these players.
Yeah.
Watching now, I'm like, what a bunch of clowns. They have 2 guys.
Man,
I love that face too. Look at the I loved it. That was Jamal Murray is a good. After he scores, like the post-score faces. Oh, that's filthy. That's filthy. Look at this score.
You guys watch this back.
Awesome, just yin and yang with Murray and Jokic.
I mean, how few of these are those difficult, unnecessary mid-rangers?
None of them.
These are threes. These are into the teeth of the defense. These are all the right plays,
yeah,
man.
it was a great play. They ran that one in the last game too. The Grant missed dunk.
Michael Malone calling on Torrey Craig. He'll be checking in.
Little laser.
Jokic.
Laser to Jokic. God, I love Murray and Jokic.
Murray also had that. It's probably not going to make the highlight because it was a missed three, but that incredible left-handed skip pass today.
You guys believe the Nuggets are counting on a guy right now with 700 minutes who's actually dope? He just doesn't know it yet. In MPJ, we're gonna get to add MPJ to these two dudes. Can't wait.
And Bol.
And who knows? Yeah, who knows? Maybe Bol too. Just bring him on out.
Doing this in the DNVR bar is the next best thing, but you do. I just want to hear the can react to one of these, man.
God.
You know, it just.
The DNVR bar popping.
It was popping tonight, man.
We got a bunch of Gary Harris chants in the win.
Oh my God, so many Gary Harris.
We got a Jamal Murray.
Yeah, we got to work on that one.
That was a little.
We had a couple weird ones tonight that I was like, oh wow, they're really just going to keep
follow
chanting.
the same cadence, but with different verbiage.
Let's see what we got here. Late game, little late game. Oh my God, this is when Murray. This was when Murray was just like, guys, this last few minutes is. Oh, this
is BDE.
Are you kidding me?
The charts,
Are you kidding me?
That's ridiculous.
Oh
That's
my
Steph Curry.
gosh!
I mean, Steph
Get off
Curry
the
takes
court.
that shot.
Get off the court level stuff right now.
Didn't this game still feel losable, right up?
Oh, of course.
For another 30
and
seconds
then,
here.
In hindsight, why? Because Murray was just
right? That's what I was gonna say.
I felt foolishly confident for the.
How does he still have the legs for step backs at this point?
We're not even done. He's got one more.
Oh, that scared the Jesus out of me. Come on.
No doubt.
Get out of there. He was ready for it, man. Jamal Murray.
I mean,
Mentally
this
tough,
is
man.
unbelievable, dude.
All timer. What
Man.
Basketball's so fun. All right, guys.
God.
So game 7 here. So there's two things, I think, two conflicting theories going on right now. Number one, game 7s are a coin flip. There's a reason Phil Jackson, even with Michael Jordan in his quarter, said he never liked to be in a game 7 because you just never knew what was going to happen, what player's going to get a silly foul called against him, what ball was going to bounce the wrong way. You don't know. And I think game 7, I think this one in particular, inside the bubble, everything, all the emotions, I think it's going to be a coin flip. The thing working against that is that the Denver Nuggets really do seem to have figured something out about this Utah Jazz team. And there are moments over those last 2 games where we felt very confident in the Nuggets, more so than we thought possible after the first 3 games. Harrison, I'll start with you.
Okay.
Going into game 7, do you feel confident about Denver? Do you feel like it's a coin flip or a little bit better or worse than a coin flip for Denver?
I mean, I feel like it's better than a coin flip with just how Jamal Murray's playing. It's tough envisioning him having a bad game at this point in the series.
Kind of is tough to envision.
Yeah, it's true.
You know? I guarantee you it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, I think it will.
I guarantee you it's going to be close deep into the fourth quarter. But the Nuggets are playing with a confidence now and play with a confidence in Game 5 that they didn't have anything close to in the first 3 games of this series. Something clicked for them defensively. I think they know deep down they can stop Utah. And I think earlier in the series there was a lot of doubt that they could defend these guys. So I just think from a mental standpoint, they're in a much different place than they were in games 1, 2, and 3. So yeah, I'm taking Denver, of course. They've got the momentum. They've got the confidence.
Vote?
Yeah, I also think the Divine One has seen himself bleed here, right? Utah's missed some shots, and there was this unbelievable cyclical energy of the hoop just is so big to them right now, and you have to wonder. I mean, eventually they missed some big shots down the stretch of this game, and Clarkson had a tough game, and Ingles was nowhere to be found. So you do have to wonder if some of that excess outlier shooting, even despite Denver's bad defense, has maybe dried up. I think Denver has the momentum, but I don't think there was good process tonight. I think Jamal Murray was.
Oh, I think there was.
In certain ways, I didn't like the starting lineup. Thought he stuck with them too long,
way too long.
So it took Jamal and Jokic a little bit to get going and shoot some threes. So I don't know. I think Malone needs to. If he goes with that same lineup that started, I feel scared about 7.
D-line.
So we added Gary Harris to our lineup. We are a different team than we were when we started the series. I could not feel more confident about the Nuggets going forward. They have absolutely found something about the Utah Jazz, and more than anything, they've just realized that they're a better team. They are the better team.
I think they are. I really do.
I'm serious. Like when you look at the Utah Jazz now, you're like, all right, I would rather have Jamal Murray either on equal footing or over Donovan Mitchell. I would absolutely rather have Nikola Jokic over Rudy Gobert. Who's next? Jordan Clarkson?
It's the rest of the guys. It's really
MPJ. I'll take MPJ over Jordan Clarkson. Royce O'Neal. Joe Ingles. None of these guys make me even remotely nervous. And so, just changing the dynamic of the players on the court changes absolutely everything. It's been changed, and I don't know how you couldn't be super bullish on these Nuggets.
I still think it's a coin flip. I know I'm the Debbie Downer of the group.
Get out of here.
Look, there's a couple things. Denver, after losing games 2 and 3, had to make adjustments. I think if you're Utah and you're up 3-2 coming into this one, I think there's and you barely lost, by the way. You almost had won. I think there's reason to say, do we need to adjust? Do we need to do this or that? And I know it's hard to make adjustments going into the final game because you don't know if those adjustments are going to blow up in your face or what. But I do think that Utah is going to make a few adjustments to try to get a little bit better. The other thing I'm curious about, Michael Malone would never answer this. Denver dominated Utah's bench tonight. Their starters got beat. But we talked about the Paul Millsap thing and being an anchor. I wonder how much of that was Michael Malone saying, we just have to stay even enough with those lineups because we're going to beat them on the back half and we're going to close with our best lineup and that's going to matter. I don't know that he would ever confess to that or admit to that.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's the winning strategy. Game 7, maybe you just play your guys as many minutes as possible.
Yeah.
But I do wonder if there's something to that, sort of that strategy. But nonetheless, we talk about Jamal Murray, guys. Donovan Mitchell has been just as impressive or almost just as impressive in the series, and those two guys are going to bring it. One thing I will say, Jamal Murray, I think, has still played within the offense. The offense is him, a lot of it right here, but he's played within it. There were some times tonight watching Donovan Mitchell where I go, he's getting a little dribble happy,
right?
Getting a little ISO happy,
little tunnel vision from Donovan Mitchell tonight,
and a little upset with teammate, a little I gave you a good look, you didn't convert, and it's a game 7 again. They get rolling early, maybe they get their confidence back. Maybe put them away early, you can really break that confidence. But I don't know. It's just going to be it's going to be tough.
I will say though, man, veil of ignorance. If I knew nothing about the series 2 months ago, now even a year ago, if you came to me and said it's a game 7 and Jokic and Murray are playing, I would say I like Denver's chance. Yeah. Just those two guys in a clutch game. Denver needs it. I think they both step up.
Yeah, where does this rank upon? This has been a shitty year, guys. Not just in sports, but just talking about a shitty year. We needed this. I
needed this.
This is an all-timer. Tonight's game, and really every win in the series has been an all-timer.
The last two were very, as damaging as they could have been to my psyche, they were as edifying to my, I could have gone down 2, but I went up 4.
Let's get this game 7 win because we can call back a lot of people. You got something else?
Yeah, the last thing I'll say here, Gary Harris's impact tonight, we talked about it a little bit, but you can just notice a total shift in the energy that the Nuggets have on defense when he's on the floor, it seems.
Yeah.
He's so active on the ball and off the ball. He made a couple great defensive plays off the ball tonight. But he's going to be huge in game 7, I think. I wonder how cut down the rotation gets, but I've got to think Gary's going to be playing 20-plus minutes, 25-plus minutes.
I'm curious to see what happens. I really don't know. Again, I don't know if you adjust the starting lineup. I don't know if you make these big adjustments. I don't know. It's going to be a crazy. It's game 7 inside the bubble. I can't wait. Thanks, everybody, if you're watching.
King of the game, which
King
we did not
of the
get
game.
to.
How did we not mention King
draft,
of the game?
Okay,
the draft
3. King of the game. 1, 2, Mason Plumlee.
Jamal Murray, 50 points.
5 rebounds.
My goodness. My king.
2 big cojones.
My king.
Freaking arrow.
Thank you, everybody who tuned in. Don't forget, if you're listening to this as a podcast, you can go on YouTube and hit subscribe. I have a goal to hit tomorrow. I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's so far away. I hope everybody subscribes to the DNVR YouTube page. I might as well not say it. If you're watching this video, hit the upvote, hit like. Make sure you hit the little bell next to subscribe so you get notifications. Do all of that stuff. Everybody else, we'll see you later. Can you close your microphone? We'll see you guys.